Good evening. I'd like to call to order our regular scheduled council meeting for Monday, July 9th, 2018 at 7 p.m. Our first order of business is our opening ceremony, which consists of the national anthem, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence for those service members that have given their lives while defending our country. Leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight is Christopher Russellberg and Tyler Phil from Garden City Boy Scout Troop 1241. Would everybody please stand? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Let's give Tyler and Christopher a big hand for helping us with the Pledge of Allegiance. Garden City Boy Scout Troop 1241. Thank you, gentlemen.
Good job, guys.
Good job. Madam Clerk Bettis, can you take the roll, please?
Good evening, Your Honor. Mayor Walker.
Here.
Councilmember Jacobs.
Here.
Councilmember Lynch.
Here.
Councilmember Squires. Councilmember Earl.
Here.
Councilmember McCarge.
Here.
Councilmember Kerwin.
Here.
Show Councilmember Squires absent and excused, please.
Most certainly.
Moving on to item 4, approval of the agenda.
Mayor,
Councilmember Lynch.
I move for the approval of the agenda for Monday, July 9th, 2018 as presented.
Support.
Support. Councilmember Earl. Any comments from the table? From the general public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0, 6-0, sorry, 6-0. We will now move on to community events. I'll call up Monica Fulton, Community Resource Department Director.
Hi, thank you, Mayor and Council. Tonight, I just want to give you guys a little bit of an update on the status of the Fitness Court Patronicity fundraiser. As of this afternoon, we have raised $39,640. We have 1 week and just over $10,000 left to meet our $50,000 goal. Last week, I received notification from the Greater Metropolitan Association of Realtors. They approved my application for a $5,000 placemaking grant for this project. Normally, their grants are provided on a reimbursement basis. However, I spoke with their Director of Community Affairs to see if an exception could be made so that we could get the funds in advance and count it towards the Patronicity campaign. He's going to check with his board to see if that's possible. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll get some good news in the next couple of days and we'll be $5,000 closer to our goal. We've had some recent sponsors lately. The Garden City Figure Skating Club, Enterprising Real Estate, and FPJ Investments became silver sponsors recently. Hennessy Engineers has agreed to provide an in-kind silver sponsorship for their work on the bid process for the concrete pad for the fitness court, so, you know, very appreciative of that. New bronze level sponsors include the Garden City Lions Club, Midwest Cardiology, Garden City Towers, and Debbie Babb Holton. Recent varsity sponsors include Mayor Randy Walker, Crazy Bob and Councilmember Pat Squires, Councilmembers Pat McCarge, Kelly Kerwin, and Brian Earl, Mark and Lorraine Gutman, Melissa Radawan, I apologize if I butchered that name, Carol Allen Levangie, Wild Iris Floral Boutique, Plant Moran, American Pavement Sawing, Inspection Reports Online, Incorporate Graphics, and Fanatic U. So lots of our local businesses and people that the city does business with, so that's fantastic. Fitness champions include Heather Hurdell and Dan York, and free fitness sponsors include Councilmember Mark Jacobs, Carrie Parton, Patty Fix, and Stephen and Janet Jenks. So those are some of our recent sponsors. I hope everyone has had the opportunity to watch our police officers meet the jumping jack challenge given by Councilmember Jacobs. If not, you can check it out on the city's Facebook page. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe the PD has challenged the fire department to 20 jumping jacks. So I'm looking forward to seeing that pop up on Facebook this week. So if you've been waiting to donate, now is the time. Don't wait. We have 7 days left to meet our goal. We'll receive a $50,000 matching funds from the Michigan Economic Development Corporation when we hit $50,000. Every little bit helps. If 100 people donate $10, that's $1,000. If that happens 10 times, we've done it. So you can donate at patroncity.com/GC Fitness Court. Or you can help out tonight by grabbing a bite to eat at Sports Venue. They, again, are our restaurant for Make a Difference Monday. They're donating a portion of your bill today to the fitness court. So that's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll go to comments from state and county officials. I see we have Glenn Anderson here from the county.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to say a few words and update you a little bit on some of the things that happened. I know you've heard about the jail, reaching an agreement with the jail, and the county commission then approved virtually everything. I think there might be a couple of loose ends yet, but for the most part, the deal is complete. As everyone knows, this will include what is called the Justice Center, which would be a new courthouse, a new juvenile detention center, and the jail itself. Construction is to begin this year in October and should be completed by the end, if not midsummer, of 2022. Another good piece of news, Wayne County's bond rating has improved 4 times to investment grade. It was previously considered junk bonds when they would go out for bonding, so it's going to have a positive impact on money that's borrowed and the bonds that have to be employed to build the new jail. And we continue to consolidating operations of the county and selling underutilized or unused assets. Recently, the sale was finally approved for the old Eloise complex. A lot of it was on the news about it being for $1, but there was no other offers on the property, and the developers committed to spending a minimum of $20 million on the redevelopment of the property and to start the rehabilitation of some of the buildings within 18 months and complete it within 42 months. It was a huge expense for the county just to maintain the property and secure it. And as I said, there was no return that was coming out of it. This will put it on the tax rolls eventually. So it'll be beneficial in many ways, as well as the Potter Cemetery that a lot of people don't know about. That was a high maintenance issue as far as keeping it secure and cutting the grass, and a lot of issues that came out of that. So they're going to assume that responsibility instead of the county having to do it any longer. And some of you may have noticed, may have received it in your mail, my spring-summer newsletter came out. And if you haven't received it yet, you should be getting it soon with some updates on that. recently on June 13th, and Monica was there and joined us. We had a really nice dinner for Senior Appreciation Dinner on June 13th. We had almost 300 seniors from around the district, including all 3 cities that I represent. The event included a free dinner, dessert, entertainment, and door prizes. And haven't had a complaint yet, so it felt like must have gone pretty well. And a lot of comments. People really enjoyed it. The 2018-19 budget discussions will be starting very soon. We should be receiving the budget any day now, and then we'll schedule meetings to discuss all the pieces of all the departmental budgets. Coffee hours are suspended for July and August, but they will resume on September 10th at the Maplewood Center at 10:30 a.m. in the Michigan Room. And the two last things. Wayne County Hazardous Waste Collection event is coming up on Saturday, August 11th, between 8 in the morning and 2 p.m. at the Westland Shopping Center behind JCPenney's. As everyone knows, it's free to all Wayne County residents. Cruising Hines is, I just saw Don Nicholson, so I got to make sure I give him a little plug on his massive efforts that he puts towards auto shows and auto competitions. Cruising Hines is on August 26th from 9 a.m. To 6 p.m. And the cruisers have to enter at Ford Road, but there's shuttles that are going to be running, as I understand, too. So with that, that's all I have. Thank you very much, and my deepest sympathy to Pat Squires and the loss of her husband. I know many of us saw each other at one time or another at the funeral home, and still a very big loss for Garden City. But
Yep.
Thank you. And Mayor, I'm glad to hear your mother's doing better.
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner. Thank you. Okay, moving on to petitions and communication. As a commissioner just said, our deepest sympathies go out to Pat Squires and her family on the loss of her husband, Bob Squires. He was a gem. He was loved by this community. He was a veteran. A few years back, he was voted the first citizen of Garden City, belonged to the American Legion Riders. He was a member of the DDA for several years. The thing I will always remember about him, he's always the first to volunteer for something. He'd raise his hand. But the mayor's underprivileged children Christmas party every year at Maplewood, he would be out on that dance floor with them kids and that microphone singing and dancing the whole time, year after year after year, making those kids smile. Anytime you talk to Bob, he made you smile. That's why they called him Crazy Bob. I mean, you never knew what he was going to do. But he loved people, he loved his country, and he loved this community. So on behalf of Mayor and Council, our deepest sympathies to the Squires family. Moving on to item 9, the consent agenda.
Mayor?
Councilmember Lynch.
I move for the approval of the consent agenda, items 9A 1 through 5.
Support.
And if I could read number 5?
Yes, go ahead.
That's a mayoral appointment to the Downtown Development Authority for Kevin Kramus with a term expiring 4/30/22.
Okay. Any comments from the table? From the general public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, motion passes 6-0. Kevin Kramus, well-known in the city, he'll be a great addition to the DDA, and we look forward to working with him on the DDA. Moving on to item B1, first contact grant agreement between the City of Garden City and the County of Wayne. Call up Monica from the Family Resource Center.
Thank you. This is a contract for 3 years for grant funds from the Child Care Fund with Wayne County. Essentially, those funds support the services offered through the Family Resource Center in their entirety. Over the 3-year contract, it should bring in a little over $2.5 million in revenue, roughly $865,000 a year for the services provided to the youth in the area.
Another good grant money. Councilmember Lynch.
I move to approve the 3-year grant agreement between the City of Garden City and County of Wayne for first contract services in the amount of $2,597,250 and authorize the city manager to execute all necessary documents. Support.
Support. Councilmember Kerwin. Any comments from the table?
Mayor,
Councilmember McCarthy.
just so the public knows, there's been research done that programs such as what is done at the Family Resource Center is more effective in helping youngsters and their families. Sending them to a juvenile center, the recidivism rate is high, but you get them into the community and you help them at the community, it's effective. And Ms. Fulton has been very effective in obtaining this grant, and she does it because her staff follows what the grant says to do, and they've been they're just an excellent resource for our community. Thank you, Monica.
Okay. From the general public?
Who's getting all that money?
The
Who's
resource,
getting all that money?
the Family Resource Center for at-risk youth and other programs.
He's getting all that money, isn't he? The woman over there.
Yes.
Yeah, for our
Ms.
community.
Fulton.
For- Anybody else? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Item 2, opt-out model, Public Act 152.
Mayor,
Councilmember Jacobs.
I move to adopt the following resolution and opt-out model in compliance with the requirements of the Publicly Funded Health Insurance Contribution Act as set forth in Public Act 152.
Support.
Support from Councilmember McCarge. We opt out of this state agreement because our employees pay 12% out of their paychecks every payday for their health insurance. So this is a formality that we do every year because they pay 12%.
Mayor, isn't it the 12% for their, comes out of their paycheck? At one time, was 6% that came out to cover pension costs. Now, because of this, they opted out to pay 12% towards their pension. Not for their health care, but for their pension.
I'm sorry. You're right. I've said that wrong. But yeah, they pay 12% out of their paycheck. That part was correct.
Yeah, that's the correct.
Any other comments from the table? From the general public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, that motion passes 6-0. Item 3, Special Assessment 2017 Craig Project.
Mayor?
Councilmember Lynch.
I move to adopt the following resolution to call for a public hearing to solicit public comments on the necessity of the 2017 Craig Avenue project on Monday, July 23rd, 2018, 7:00 p.m.
Support.
Support from Councilmember McCarge. Comments from the table? From the general public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, motion passes 6-0. Item 4, Special Assessment 2018 Hubbard Avenue Project.
Mayor,
Councilmember Jacobs.
move to adopt the following resolution to call for a public hearing to solicit public comments on the necessity of the 2018 Hubbard Avenue project on Monday, July 23rd, 2018 at 7 p.m.
Support.
Support for Councilmember McCarge. Any comments from the table? From the general public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes 6-0. Item 5, Microsoft Office 365 software purchase.
Mayor,
Councilmember Jacobs.
I move to approve the purchase of Microsoft Office 365 software from Soft Choice of Chicago, Illinois, in an amount not to exceed $26,952,000 or $26,952 as bid.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Lynch. And if I'm saying this right, Mr. City Manager, we use 2007, which is outdated.
Yes.
And this will allow our stuff to go up in the clouds?
Yep. We're going to the future.
Go into the future,
So, yeah,
updating our software.
Our system is, in the next year, is going to be crashing because we're not compatible with today's software or anything else using 2007 technology. We'd have to spend a lot of money either going with an entirely new system that would be using 2016 software, which will be good for another 6 or 8 years, and then that's going to crash, or spending about $85,000 for that one time, or we spend this money and we go into the cloud. So immediately, we're going to go to 2016, 2017, 365 software is what it is. But as soon as it goes to 2019, the new equipment, the new software comes out, we're going to be on 2019. 2021 comes out, we're going to be on 2021. No longer are we going to be lagging back behind when it comes to technology here in the community. So we added Wi-Fi throughout City Hall this past week, which gives even the people waiting for the courts can use now Wi-Fi. And now we're going to the cloud with our information. It's still kept, it's not lost when people say it's out of our computer system. But what we don't need is a big closet full of a whole bunch of servers to try to keep everything on the ground, because eventually you have to replace all that, spending again about $85,000, where everything's kept away from us. We could still keep it on our hard drives if we like. We just don't need all the software in-house anymore. It's a big step for us, and it will help us communicate between all of our departments a lot more efficiently than what computer system do you have compared to me. Everybody gets on the same, which will be the next highest level we can get to. Good stuff.
So can we send some of our council members up to the
To go
moon or
check it
the
out?
clouds to retrieve it?
You just name
Councilmember
one.
Earl.
Name one.
I just want to say thank you for doing this. because, it could have been a major issue had we not updated and everything crashed. So I fully support this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the table, from the general public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Moving on, public comments. Anybody wishing to speak for items that were not on the agenda tonight? There is a 3-minute time limit. Please come up and state your name. Anybody wishing to speak? Okay, seeing none, city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. After your quick talk there about Crazy Bob, I do have to make a comment. As one of the newest citizens in Garden City, did have the fortunate opportunity to meet Bob Squires once at Memorial Day at the celebration. My family was just new. As ill as he was at that time, which was less than a month and a half ago, he still found time to be playful with my kids, joke along with me, and I certainly could have seen us become really fast friends. So I'm disappointed, unfortunately, not having the opportunity to become more connected with him and be able to spend more time with him. But as years go down the line and people talk about Crazy Bob, at least I've had the opportunity to spend a little time with him. And as one councilwoman told me, at that point, he was the third of what he normally would be. And that was way enough for me to see what kind of person he was. So 3 times that, boy, we'd be rocking. So I just wanted to mention that as someone who got one chance to meet him. Autos for Autism is going on. Some others may mention also. Tremendous. I had the opportunity to be one of the celebrity judges locally, a couple people on the board also, and some other citizens and staff members. What an opportunity to look at some great vehicles. Now, in South Florida, I put on car shows. I never put a car show on as great as what's happening right now over at the middle school. I believe it's going till 9 o'clock tonight, so anybody has an opportunity to go over to see what's there. Tremendous amount of cars, beautiful, one after another. It's a real great event, great fundraiser for the autism program. 4x4. Next week, or next meeting, I'll give a better update, but at this point, we have closed down Section 1. We are in Section 2 now. They're going to see some changes from the code enforcement side to the beautification of the next section, which we'll talk about next meeting. From Cherry Hill to Marquette, from Merriman to Hubbard is the next section. Again, a lot more detail at the next meeting. And I just want to bring up for the roads vote, just some information has been put out. The water bill goes out to all residents, so 27,000 residents have an opportunity to receive a water bill. I'm sure they love getting it from us. But this time, inside the water bill, it's a double-sided page that talks about the questions most people have when it comes to the roads vote. of why we're doing what we're doing and what's the reasoning for the cost and how things work out. So every resident's going to receive that. Unfortunately, not every resident votes. So what we have also sent out is another flyer that just went out to absentee ballot voters at this moment, people that tend to vote very quickly, so they can kind of get some information and learn more about it. So every resident, at this point, I believe 2/3 of the residents have received their water bill. It goes out in 3 sections. So 10,000 people at a time receive the water bill. 20,000 people have seen the questions. Well, 2 big issues keep coming up. One is people have paid an assessment for their road already or in the past. Why should they pay for the future roads for other people? In the past, you paid 5% of what your road costs. So any resident that has paid for the road did not pay 100% for the road. They paid about 5% into the road, which means 95% of it was paid by the other residents in the city. So the quick response when people say, I already paid for my road, why should I pay for others? Well, others paid for your road also. So that's something to think about, and we're going to get into more detail with our community meetings that we're going to have. The next question was, which roads are going to be done? And we're trying to finalize right now, and should be done next couple of days, literally, the first 3 years worth of roads. We won't be able to say guarantee the first 5 years, which is how long the bond is, because by the second to third year, there may be a change of deterioration of one road versus another. But at least the first 3 years, we could say these roads are being done. And it's going to be a mixture of everything, of full replacement of roads to taking out some squares called sectioning. As you see on a lot of concrete roads, a square is taken out, maybe a 12 by 12 square. It's going to be a mix of everything. But we're looking probably in the next 2 days or so announce when our meetings are. I can pretty much guarantee next week's going to be Monday and Tuesday evening. There's going to be a number of community meetings. It's not going to be a one and done. So it gives everybody a chance, an opportunity to come. We'll have some daytime meetings as well as evening meetings. But in the next couple of days, through Facebook, through our webpage, and coming to meetings starting next week, people will be able to see what roads we're talking about in the beginning. But I've got to impress upon anybody listening and watching, this really is becoming a team sport. It's going to have to be a team sport. The city has about 100 miles of roads, and we can spend up to $1 million for 1 mile. And that's the curbs and the gutters, and not every road needs that. Asphalt roads could be a little cheaper. But if you've got 100 miles of roads and it's $1 million a mile, that's $100 million. We're asking for $15 million over the next 5 years. So we're trying to make it financially feasible, but at the same time, everyone's got to understand that if their road is not necessarily on this map that we're going to put out, it doesn't mean vote no, because 2 things. One is other roads on your way to your house might be done, so it may increase your property values. That roads you take are useful. And on the other side, if you vote no, if that would be the focus, then what's the next step, at that point? Because if we don't get started with something, what do we have 5 years from now? So if we would have done this program 10 years ago, we'd already be through $30 million worth of roads, and a lot of the city would be cleaned up. So at some point, we have to start something. It's up to the individual people to vote one way or the other, but we want to impress upon people to make sure you come out and vote. At least if you vote no, at least you voted. We just want to make sure people come out and voice their opinions. Come to the meetings. The meetings that we're going to have are going to be much more informational meetings. It's not going to be just, talking at you and saying this is it, but at the same time, if you don't see your road on the map, please understand that your road may be in the 4th year or the 5th year. We're not putting that out yet. And all goes well, which we expect it will, with the information out to the citizens, to know this is a well-planned project, that maybe at the 5th year we are able to pass it again in the future, then your road might be on the 6th year. So everybody's got to make a conscious decision what they want to do, but a lot more information is coming. At the next meeting for sure, we'll have a whole lot more presentation for the council and for everybody here and watching July 23rd's meeting about where we are with the overall presentation and what we learned from the meetings we had with the community. And that should be it right now. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember McCarge.
I was able to attend the American Legion Memorial Service for Crazy Bob, and it truly was amazing, the love and respect that went out towards Pat, Pat and her family, and Bob. I was introduced when I asked one time, well, who's that guy in the hall over at Maplewood? And they said, Crazy Bob. And I thought, oh, they shouldn't call him names. But that's who he was, Crazy Bob. And that was probably, years ago. So Pat is in my thoughts and prayers in the next months. She sure has a lot of family and friends that will help her through this time. Couple other things coming up. On July 21st, the Garden City Garden Club is having their annual garden walk. It is a fundraiser. Part of the money is used to have a scholarship for a high school, Garden City High School student, which we will be giving a $1,000 scholarship to a young lady coming up here in August. The garden walk is from 10 to 3. It costs $8. And not only can you support the scholarship, but also the beautiful gardens and all the hard work that these homeowners have done. New this year and going on right now, the Garden Club is also having a prettiest front porch contest, and the judges are out now judging 52 entries. So, the people in Garden City really do a great job, keeping up their homes and gardens, and I do certainly appreciate it. August 11th, Bacon Run. Please sign up for that. It starts early in the morning, like 7 o'clock. So even if it's hot, they're going to be doing most of this run early in the morning. But the same day, at the same location, Garden City Park, starting at noon, there will be the Kiwanis Kids Day in the park. They have bouncers, they have water slides, they have Touch a Truck with a lot of different trucks. Our fire department and police department will be there, and this is all for the kids. So there'll be more information coming out on that. And the same day, that night, at Barson's Greenhouse, there will be a fundraiser for Monarch Watch. They will have music and light refreshments, and you can go see the Butterfly House at Barson's Greenhouse. Now, I know legally Barson's is Westland, but we've adopted him as Garden City, and he certainly has, the greenhouse has certainly adopted Garden City as his home. So if you have not been to the Butterfly House, you need to go over there. It's pretty amazing. So, and then on just a sad note, my condolences to the family of Ray Hollins, who recently passed. His wife Laura works here at City Hall, and my thoughts and prayers are with her and her family. That's all.
Okay, Councilmember Kerwin.
Congrats to our fast pitch softball Garden City Gators 14U. They went out this past weekend and won 6-0 and brought home the USSA state champs. I have some parents on that team, and they're very proud parents right now. Like the city manager said, Autos for Autism is today. It runs till 9 o'clock tonight. They have a lot of neat cars there, as well as fun ones for the kids, like the Scooby-Doo Mystery Machine and the old Batmobile, and all the proceeds go to Berger, I believe. Tuesday, August 21st, the Garden City High School Champions Program will have their 3rd annual scholarship golf outing. If you're interested in golfing, it will be at the Gateway Golf Course, and you can contact Kelly Mendez at mendezk@gardencityschools.com or at 734-762-8350, extension 8361. Let's see, Cop on a Block. On July 12th at 6 o'clock in the corner of Catherine and Craig, the police are starting to come out. They look for volunteers to host it, and they'll come out on your corner, and your neighbors can bring out their kids, and they can ask questions, and they can check out the car, and I believe Rudy comes. I think that's a great thing, at least to meet your neighbors. It's an excuse to get out there and talk to people. And to Pat Squires and Laura Hollins, my family continues to pray for you and yours. That's it.
Okay. Councilmember Lynch.
I'm going to mention Autos for Autism also, but I want to take it a different direction. I believe this is the 18th annual Autos for Autism. And the only way that this can be possible is the hardworking team that they have, and it's pretty much a consistent team year after year after year putting this together. I know they said that this year was probably the largest as far as number of vehicles, and they had registrations available for 300 vehicles. Well, they ran out, and that was before 5 o'clock. So there's over 300 vehicles. They're just beautiful, beautiful cars, from old ones all the way up to newer ones. So if you can't find something you like, then you don't like cars, is what I'm going to say. But then look at the motorcycles, because they have those too. I just want to congratulate that team that puts it together. They do an awesome job. And then again, my love and prayers go out to both Pat Squires and her family and Laura Hollins and her family. And thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Jacobs.
Basically the same thing. The autos were awesome, and the money they raised, it's in the millions, she said, every year that they donate back to the schools. So it's a great cause, and like everyone said, there's a lot of cars, a lot of nice cars. And again, my condolences to the family of Laura Hollins and Pat Squires. Everybody's thinking of them, and that's all I have.
Okay. Councilmember Earl.
I just want to echo the sentiments on the loss for both families, Hollins and Pat Squires' family. Excuse me. I do want to touch on one thing with the Bacon Run also. Keep in mind that the proceeds this year raised from that go towards our youth programs. They help all the youth programs, the soccer program, the baseball, football, hockey. So please, if you can support it, come out and support it. Dan does a great job of organizing it, and you know, it's like Garden City excels at these great events, and this is just another one of the great events that our city does. And all these events come out and benefit a lot of great things that, you know, I think it makes our city stand out. So I hope people come out and support it, and that's all I have.
Ms. Bedich?
Thank you, Your Honor. Just want to let you know there's another household hazardous waste collection happening Saturday, July 21st. This time it's at the Detroit City Airport over on the east side of the city proper, and you can take all of your hazardous waste materials for proper recycling over there. They are going to have another one, I believe, in August, if you don't want to go that far. All right. Also, I want to just remind everybody today is the last day for voter registration. So if you are new to Garden City, or you've moved, or you're just turning 18, or you're going to be 18 before August 7th, you can register to vote for today. I have voter registration cards here with me. If anybody under just turned 18, Mr. Warhang? Okay, that's good. Okay, good, guys. So I can register you right now. If you don't feel like putting on your street clothes, then you can just run by the drop box that's out on the north side and drop the registration application that you have gotten off online. You can put that in there. And then don't forget, we're going to be voting on August 7th. I did bring a sample ballot with me, just if anybody wants to see what's going to be on the ballot before they go to the polls, that'll be available. This is the one that tricks some people, so I want you to remember that you have to vote for a particular party. There's a partisan section, and then there's a nonpartisan section, and it's going to be on both sides, back and front. So remember to vote both sides, back and front. You can only select one team to play on for this election only, and so you have to decide which team you're going to play on, and then vote in the nonpartisan section as well. And if you have any questions about how to fill out your ballot, please call or visit our office, and we'll be there to help you. There will be plenty of knowledgeable people at the polls, and they'll be able to help you as well. Just want to send out my love to our Garden City family, the Squires, the Hollins. This has been a bad month, and we're going to miss some people. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's overwhelming. You've heard from every council member and city clerk, city manager. Our prayers go out to Pat and Laura on the passing of their husbands, Bob and Ray. Our prayers are with you. No further business. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.